Hello, I'm Jimmy Riordan. I own and operate Rabbit Rabbit Press, or RR for short, taken from the imprint's logo, which is two upside-down R's that look a bit like rabbits. RR is a small book and print studio in Anchorage, Alaska. I started it in 2007 while living in London, and it has moved and changed with me over the years. At present, RR is for the most part dedicated to risograph printing. Through it, I produce my own artist books, comics, and prints, work on contract jobs for other artists and local cultural institutions, and print book series in which I collaborate with artists on publications showcasing their work, similar to the one I am proposing as part of this fellowship application. RR was first created as an imprint for the work I was making while studying book arts at the University of the Arts London Camberwell College. At the time, I was working on an amateur translation of Francis Zem's turn-of-the-century novel Le Roman de Lièvre. The first Rabbit Rabbit Press books emerged from this work, exploring translation and the imagery and themes contained in the Roman de Lièvre. Soon after completing my translation, I moved back to Alaska. At this time, Le Roman de Lièvre continued to be central to RR's output. I undertook a number of projects that involved sharing my translation with other artists, and my publications reflected this. In 2014, I got the opportunity to letterpress print my translation of Le Roman de Lièvre at Zygote Press in Cleveland, Ohio. I approached the process cooperatively, inviting Zygote members and other people from the community to take part. Around the same time, RR began publishing the work of artists other than myself, first as part of a comic anthology series called Sowsier, later as small publications dedicated to the work of individual artists. I had begun acquiring more professional printing and bookmaking equipment, including my first risograph printers, which made these publications possible. The updates to the Rabbit Rabbit Press shop also allowed me to more easily create publications for the various participatory projects and exhibitions I undertook as part of my growing social art practice. As I took on more books in which I worked with other artists centering their work, I quickly learned that the design and printing of the book could be quite creative in and of itself. Two early examples come to mind. Late by Tamika Cage Connolly and Daniel McCloskey started as an email correspondence between a poet and a cartoonist. Tamika, the poet, had challenged Daniel to try to write a poem. They gave me free rein to transform their email into a book. Through the use of color and justification, I was able to emphasize the back and forth between their two distinct voices. Another example, Christy Power's Color Studies, was an opportunity for us to create 4 small books showcasing her photographs and paintings. It was also an opportunity to look at different color combinations and how they each process the imagery differently. In the last 4 years, collaborative books have become a more significant part of RR's output. Each collaboration is unique both in the circumstances that give rise to it and in the ways in which the form relates to the content. An example from 2019 is the Pittsburgh Queer History Project magazine. The goal for the book was to find a way to share Pittsburgh Queer History Project's archive outside of academic spaces. The archive houses a growing collection that, along with oral history, ephemera, and other media, contains hours of VHS footage. To do this, we reached out to a local newspaper printer and had 5,000 copies of the 24-page magazine printed. The magazine was free, and its pages were full of QR codes linking to archived video. We also hired a bicycle courier service to distribute thousands of copies around Pittsburgh to coffee shops, bus stops, laundromats, and restaurants. In 2020, RR got involved in the Anchorage Zine Fair. Due to the pandemic, the fair had to go online. Along with designing the fair's website, I put the word out that RR was available to help design and print books for local Anchorage artists. This call resulted in 5 publications released over December 2020 and January 2021. For the 2021 Anchorage Zine Fair, I opened this service up to anyone interested in creating something for the fair. We hosted zine-making events, and I worked with creators of all ages to conceive of, print, and bind their books. Now, in 2022, as Rabbit Rabbit Press enters its 16th year, I have taken the time to consider these recent efforts and to reflect on years of producing print media. Doing this has reaffirmed to me the value of the book form, of sharing my facilities and skill set, and the importance of collaborative forms of creation.